Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na-na.
Hi everybody, it's Laura with Jot and Tittle Typewriters. Welcome to today's tutorial. We are going to take a look at a Remington. I have not had a Remington in a very, very long time. So this is a Remington brand Model 1. And if you ever look, you'll notice that there's lots of Model 1s in Remington. This is a Remington brand noiseless, portable Model 1. Why do they call it noisy noiseless? I'm not sure. I guess it's supposed to be a little less noisy than other typewriters, but more noisy than their regular noiseless. But either way, you can still hear it. Even the noiseless typewriters, you can still hear them. They just have more of a muffled sound. But more than that, when you type, you actually feel the difference. They feel quite different when you are typing on them. Not that it's bad, but you'll notice if you type on a regular typewriter and then you type on a noiseless, there is a definite difference in how it feels. This one in particular actually performs really well. And so I'm going to show you a little bit of that, but let's take a look at this typewriter. I'm going to show you how to use it. And then if you want to see, and I'll do a mini demo on it. All right, so let's start with the back. I'm going to flip it up first and then I'll flip the top over, but so just so you can see the back. And by the way, you can also go to the product listing link in the description, and I have up close photos of all the different parts of the typewriter. But really what you want to do is you want to flip this top plate over. It's spring loaded, and you will see back here, this is for tabs. It's called a tabulator, and it has a metal bar going across that has grooves in it. And then this one only has 3 keys left. Most have 6. I call them keys. I'm not sure what they're supposed to be called, but you definitely don't want to lose them. So if you don't want to use them, just scoot them all the way to the side. But you just take them out and you just put them anywhere along these grooves that you want. Okay, and that's how you do the tabs. Your margins are going to be these little middle guys right here. And you just press and drag, and it should move pretty smoothly. Okay, and then just allow that to flip back forward. Now, for those of you who are, most of my customers and clients are new to typewriters. Some of you are not, so I ask for your patience as I explain some things, because I have a wide variety, but the majority of people have never used a typewriter. And so sometimes we realize that what we take for granted is not necessarily known. So this is going to be your whole carriage area. And you have a Platen, which is a roller, and the paper is going to go around that. Now, the older the typewriter gets, the harder this Platen is. So this one's pretty hard. But getting them replaced is not always easy, and we don't do them. We only service typewriters. We don't refurbish or restore, so we don't replace Platens on our typewriters. Now you can still use it, but it may kind of punch through the paper a little bit, the words, the letters. So that's what you kind of have to consider. The handles on each side turn the Platen, and you'll hear it clicking. It's engaged, and so every time you turn it, it's gonna move a half of a line. So you wanna keep that in mind as well. Back here on the right side is your carriage release. And what that means is it's gonna loosen this, it's gonna release this carriage so you can move it. Now all the carriages have a drawband, and that drawband is automatically gonna pull the carriage to the left. And so when you do release that carriage, you're gonna have to hold on to it, otherwise it's gonna go flying. So you release that and then you can go back and forth. Now the carriage is only gonna move as far as you have set, your margins. Okay, so I've set my margins here, but if I put my margins all the way out, sorry, I really hate using a ring light. One of these days I'll get something else because I hit it all the time. So you'll see now that my margins, my carriage moves much further. And then if I come in, then that changes, okay, how far I can move the carriage. It's a lot narrower. Now the other lever right here is your paper release. Now some typewriters you pull forward, but on this one you push back to release the paper. I'll load some paper here in a few minutes and we'll show you that as well. I believe this is, hold on. I don't know if that's a carriage. Oh, this is the carriage lock. So if you're not using it or moving it, then you'll notice, let me see if I can lift it up. And right here is, I don't know if I can get in enough. Right here is a piece of metal and it has a little notch in it. And so when you push this down, I'm not in the right place. When you push this lever down, it should go into that notch and lock the carriage. So it's easier to push down when it's up here. So now it's pushed down, but mine does not want to stay. So yours might stay, and that's how you lock the carriage, but mine does not do that. Okay, so that is on the right side. Over here on the left side, way in the back behind, this is your return handle. So when you get to the end of your paper, you hit your return handle and it advances to the next line. But behind the return handle is another lever that is also a carriage lock, and it doesn't matter which side you use. Over here is a line selector, and that means when you hit your return handle, it's going to advance 1, 2, that was 3, sorry. 3, 2, 1. It's going to advance 1, 2, or 3 lines. So let's go ahead. I did a little bit of typing on this one already, but let's go ahead and load the paper. So you just set the paper there, and I like to hold it with my left hand and then turn with the right, or if you're left-handed, you can go the other way. And I come all the way up, and you can see this is crooked. And so that is where you do the paper release. You adjust the paper, re-engage, and voila. You have these arms right here that you can slide over, and it just, what these arms do, some typewriters you'll notice have a bar that goes across. That bar helps keep the paper taut against the roller, and that just helps with it just helps with the type bar striking the paper. So that's what these do. These kind of hold that paper down for you for when you're typing. Now I'm going to move the carriage, and we're going to move it to the left. And some typewriters, the whole top will pop open. This doesn't pop open, but we're going to unscrew or pop off here. Sorry. I guess they don't screw off, they pop off. These are caps for your spools. And so the Remington Model 1, and actually most Remingtons, if not all of them, have specialty spools. And really they're not spools, they're like these metal rings. And then you wrap the ribbon around the rings. And so all of our typewriters, we wrap loads of fresh ribbon on it, so it's gonna last you a long time. But when that ribbon runs out, you kind of have to remove that spring And we have the option on our website where you send us those rings. I know I said spring earlier, but rings. You send us those little metal rings and we'll rewrap ribbon on there for you. Or you can find somewhere to buy bulk ribbon and keep it on hand and wrap your own rings. So that is how, so the Remingtons use specialty ribbon. You can't use a universal spool on a Remington typewriter. And then you just, you'll see, let's see if this will, there's two little metal pieces and then there's a notch here and you just got to line those up and push back down. And that is how you change out the ribbon. Being careful to load the ribbon through the guide wires. There's one there, there's one there, and then you've got your middle section. I have an up close photo of that section so you can kind of see how to load in your ribbon. All right, let's keep moving down. Right here is your color selector. Black is on the top there, then there's a white in the middle. That white is a stencil setting and you're not gonna ever use it. And so if it's on stencil, it's not going to type. Make sure it's firmly on the black or the red is on the bottom, okay? Or actually it's not gonna engage, it's not gonna, the type bars aren't gonna hit the paper. They're kind of stop. So the white, don't use white. Okay, down here is attention selector, and that just determines how hard your type bars are going to strike your paper. Now, the ribbon reversal a lot of times is either over on a lot of typewriters on the left side or under the hood, so to speak. And this one doesn't have a cover and the ribbon reversal is not here, but it is on the side. So let's take a look. I'm gonna try to hold that. And right here, you'll see a kind of silver button. And when you're ready to reverse the direction of your ribbon, you just press that and it's gonna go to the other side. And then you just, I'm not gonna lift it up again. Let me get this situated back. I think I keep hitting this. And so then now it's over on this side. So you just go back and forth. So when you get to the end of a spool, it's not the end of the ink in the ribbon, you just reverse the direction, and this is how you manually do that. So how do you know when to reverse the direction of the ribbon? Well, you'll notice your ribbon will start to pull really tight. That's an obvious indicator. Or the font may be really faint, and sometimes the typewriter will just kind of stop typing. So if any of those things happen, don't panic. Always reverse the direction of the ribbon. In fact, if your typewriter is just not acting the way it should, always try to reverse the direction of your ribbon and check your color selector. A lot of times that will solve your problems. Okay, so let's move down here. We already talked about how to set the tab. Your tab key is here. Okay, and you have your shift lock, and then to get out of shift lock, just hit the shift key, and that's really basic. So I know a lot of people want to hear the sound of the keys, and I cannot tell how this is set. Okay, let's go ahead and type a sentence. So when you get to the end of a sentence and you reach your margin, your typewriter is going to stop typing. And to finish either your word or your thought, you just hit that margin release button and then it'll let you finish typing. Now, if you're having to use the margin release on every single line, then you need to adjust your margins. But really, when you get to the end of your margin, you should hit the return handle. That'll take you back to the beginning and it'll advance you one. Don't be afraid to press this. Some of us are too light on it. Also, when you get close to your margin, you should hear that bell. My bell's not working really well on this. I'll be quiet to see if you can hear it. Okay, so there you could kind of hear it. Mine is very faint. So when you're typing, you need to pay attention to your bell. As soon as you hear your bell, you should hit that return handle. But again, if you're in the middle of a word, you want to finish your word, and that's when that margin release comes in handy. Okay, thanks so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up. Get notifications every Saturday. We have new typewriter listings. We sure appreciate you. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Blessings.